Hello everybody, this is Ahjuxue, and today I am filming my top 10 Running Man episodes. I'm doing this by myself because Ahjuxue already did hers on another day. She's actually right next to me, but she doesn't get to be in the video.
Oh, they can hear you.
Now, these top 10 episodes have there's not going to be any order about which one's the best, which one's not the funniest, but nothing. It's going to be in the order of how they came, so earliest to latest, and I will tell you guys my my favorite moments on those episodes, and hopefully you guys give those episodes a shot and watch them. So starting off with episode 74, the Superpower Christmas Race. And in this episode, the members, they all got superpowers. So it was really cool and really funny. But my favorite moment was finally when they all started battling. At first they were kind of just filling each other out. And then they all started battling. And then right in the end, Kangeri really figured out how to use his powers. And that was my favorite moment, was when he figured out how to use his powers and he used it and he started dominating everybody and he won the race. Now, the next one is episode 91, James Bond, and this was the anniversary episode of the first time JC did it. This one was probably my favorite James Bond episode because how it was done and how JC won. So it was really intense. It started out being really funny, but then it got really intense at the end. And one of my favorite moments was at the beginning when everyone was getting arrested they're getting arrested, thrown to jail for their crimes, and they had funny crimes. Kangeri was being ugly and J-Sig was wearing jeans too tight. But my favorite moment of that episode was at the end when it started getting really competitive. J-Sig eliminated everybody and Kim Jong-kook somehow got out a second time and almost won the race, and J-Sig had to eliminate him right at the end. So that was really intense. The next one is episode 98, which is the zombie episode. This one is the first zombie episode in which Kangeri is the zombie. And he apparently was this zombie that had been alive since super duper long time ago. And it was really mysterious. It was kind of creepy in a way leading up to it. But once the race started going, it was really cool. With my favorite moment being at the end when Kangeri had eliminated. He had somehow gotten everybody on his side by eliminating them, and it was him and Ji-Hyo versus J-Sig at the end, and J-Sig almost won that one with his dog nose being able to smell Ji-Hyo's perfume. And I think it was because of this episode that Ji-Hyo stopped wearing perfume on the set. Was because of how they almost lost because J-Sig has a dog nose, and he almost won. But it was a real cool episode. A little creepy at the start, but I liked it. The fourth episode is episode 119, which is the Ryujin baseball. Now this isn't the second one with Susie, but this is the first one. The first one with all the baseball legends. This one was super duper cool. They gave when they went to play baseball at the end, they gave them superpowers. And this episode truly is a Running Man classic, and I loved it so much. Ahjuxue and I, we actually watched it recently, just that sequence of the baseball game, and it's still funny to this day. When they use their superpowers and eliminating Ryujin with his superpowers, and then Kwang-soo with his low pitching. It was those parts, they're just classic Running Man moments in which I totally love, and I recommend you guys to go watch that one. So for the fifth one, it's the time travel episode in which the Running Man members, they supposedly go back in time to 1938 and do like a race, and then they would try and travel forward, and they swap bodies without knowing they did that. They didn't know that they swapped bodies in the future. So this one was really cool. It was it was funny, but it was like really interesting, and it really made me like question, like, okay, who's the members, like which one are they now? But the one of the most memorable moments for me was Jasuk getting, for whatever reason, like when they were doing the missions, this guy, this like what's the word, courier, gave Jasuk a pillow, and then all of a sudden, like 10 people started chasing him all over the place, and inside of it was just a pillow, and he had no idea what it was for, but they just kept chasing him. Every time he got it, they would chase him. And so I don't remember who got it later. I guess she just whispered to me, Kim Jong-kook got it. So later, Kim Jong-kook became Jae-suk, which is ironic, right, guys? Because obviously, in the episode, in the old time, Kim Jong-kook eliminates Jae-suk, and so then he ends up being Jae-suk. But that was one of my favorite moments. And that one, another one was when Ji-hyo, they were like, "Who's Kim Jong-kook? Who's Kim Jong-kook in this timeline?" And Ji-hyo thinks it's Kang-gery. Kang-gery thinks it's Ji-hyo. And at first they were suspecting each other, and then Kwang-soo shows up, and they were like, "Oh," and Ji-hyo was, "No, I know Kim Jong-kook is the one that they were throwing the balls at." And right when she said, like, Kwang-soo like realized it was him, and he tried to like hide it, and Ji-hyo totally caught him, and so they threw him into the gym, and he got like blasted with like balls, and they eliminated him. That one was really cool. It had a big twist at the end that I did not expect, in which Haha won. But yeah, that one was a really good episode. Then we get to number 6, being episode 137, the Full Ondal and Fair Princess episode, which, in my opinion, was probably the funniest, had the funniest single moment in the history of Running Man in that episode. And it was when Jae-suk and Kwang-soo were being fools, were being pabos, and they were playing a game against each other, and then like Ji-hyo showed up and they didn't want her as a partner, and then they saw Miss Tuna, and they really didn't want her as a partner because of how she was their partner the first time, and they almost died. So they started being really dumb, and Kwang-soo like pulled off the Pablo character perfectly. I mean, once you see, like, guys, once you see that scene, it's unseeable. Like, that's how good that scene is. So that scene was really, that episode was really fun. Like, it had laughs from start to finish in that episode, and you know, I totally recommend that episode for anybody who's trying to know what Running Man is about. Then number 7 is the episode 140, Rage Virus. This episode was totally cool. It's a cool episode. It ended up being a James Bond episode. Somehow it ended up being that way, and but the highlight of that episode was Kwang-soo being, he had lost early in the episode, so he got infected by the Rage Virus, and then they brought him in to like test him, and they were like tickling him to see if he would laugh, and he would like try not to laugh, and he laughed anyways at the end, but he did his best to not laugh. And guys, like that episode was really good, had a lot of funny laughs, but really, like, that episode, Kwang-soo totally stole that episode away. My number 8 being episode 150, with Avengers Running Man. And this was the first time they did it, because this was when Avengers like first came out, and Running Man, they, you know, the thing is, like, the old PDs, Milk PD and Cho PD and Hyuntae PD, they're very into that stuff. Especially Milk PD. He's super duper into superheroes and mystery and detectives, and so it was bound to happen, and they did a Running Man Avengers. And I I don't want to tell you guys too much about that episode because it was a really good episode, really funny, but it was really cool, especially the powers that they got. They had totally a bunch of star casts that showed up, from being idols to actors to, I mean, we're not just talking about any actor. We're talking about a legendary martial arts actor to real fighters. I mean, they had, if you want to talk about star-studded guest cast, that was a star-studded guest cast. And they gave the members powers that was totally fitting of them. Like, you couldn't have given them better powers. So, that episode was super duper cool. One of my favorite moments was just them actually getting their powers. That was cool. Jae-suk came, he got Captain America. Ji-hyo got Black Widow. Haha got Iron Man. Kim Ji-kook was Thor. Kwang-soo was Gideonai or Hawkeye. Suk-jin ended up being Dr. Banner and being the Hulk. And then Kang-gery got Spider-Man. And he got the cool epic entrance that nobody got because he came last. So he got the cool entrance. But that episode was really cool. And now, going to my 9th episode, we're jumping to episode 200. Now, this one is Park Ji-sung and in the Indonesia Cup with Cha Boom. Cha Boom. Now, for some of you guys who don't know who Cha Boom is, he is a legendary South Korean soccer player. Park Ji-sung is also a legendary soccer player. They're both retired now, but Cha Boom is like much older. He's the soccer idol of Park Ji-sung, and Park Ji-sung, he just recently retired, maybe like 5 years ago. So, but this episode, this was like, I think like the third time that they did the soccer cup tournaments. So there's previous episodes that Park Ji-sung showed up before, but my favorite was this one because the fact that you got to really see the members were much more improved. They got so much better over the last 2 tournaments with Evra and with just Park Ji-sung. Plus, Kang-gery's cousin was also there.
North Korean.
His North Korean cousin is not really his cousin, but they look alike. They look like brothers. But he was also there to play soccer with him. My favorite moment of that episode was when Park Ji-sung, Jae-suk, Kim Ji-kook, and Cha Boom, they were on the field at the same time, and you can really see like they like had a good chemistry going where they just pass. I mean, if you really think about it, and Jae-suk and Kim Ji-kook were actual soccer players, that's a done deal, But it was a really good episode, really cool, really intense. Kang-gery almost scored a goal, and I recommend that if any of the soccer episodes, I recommend that one because that one was a really good like soccer episode, rather than them just playing games and stuff. It was they were just preparing for that big moment. Now to the last one, which is episode 231, and that is James Bond and Kwang-soo. So this one is another James Bond. As you guys know, I love these James Bond episodes because they're funny, but they're super cool in the way that they do it. And Jae-suk's really good at being James Bond. He's really good at eliminating people with his water gun. But this episode, James Bond had to get a sidekick. And his sidekick, he picked Kwang-soo to be his sidekick. So this was like Kwang-soo's big moment. He finally got to be James Bond. He thought he was getting to be James Bond, but he ended up being just James Bond's sidekick. This whole episode, Jae-suk and Kwang-soo had to eliminate the members while playing games, and then at the end, Kwang-soo had to decide on whether he wanted to kill Jae-suk and don the name of James Bond, or continue to be Jae-suk's sidekick. Now, even with all that, my favorite moment, hands down, was the end when Kangeri was the last person alive and he was doing his mission and Kwasu and Jasek came into the room to stop him. And like, Keri was so focused on the mission that he didn't even notice Kwasu was like pointing his water gun at him right in the face, and he was just like, "Come on, yourself, get out of the way!" And Jasek was like stepping on all the because Kangeri had to do this little path on a board, and there's some that breaks, and Jasek was like breaking all of them, and Kwasu went to help Jasek, and he ended up breaking some too, and Kangeri was just like totally blasphemous of them and was just doing the mission while Kwasu and Jasek were trying to kill him, in which they did. They did get him. And then Keri finished the mission, but it was pointless. He was dead already. Now, the ending was real cool because Kwasu wanted to be... He had to make that choice. So Jasek gave him a water gun. And Jasek stood in front of him and was like, you know, if you want to be James Bond, all you have to do is shoot me and kill me. If not, you can be my sidekick forever. We can do this together. So Kwasu was like, okay, I make my decision. Points his gun and fires it like he would, because he's a peishi. Of course he would do it. But the gun that Jasek picked out, it's like, it's a reverse gun. So if any of you guys know who Stephen Chow is, he had a movie in which he was a secret agent, and his gun shot backwards first before it shot forward. So the bad guy, the girl, tries to shoot and kill him, and she shot her shoulder instead. And so that's kind of like what it was Kwasu tries to shoot Jasek, but the gun shoots backwards, and it kills Kwasu instead. So he dies, and Jasek was like, I knew it. I knew he was going to do that. So now I'm just James Bond by myself. And so I ended up being just Jasek because Kwasu killed himself. But, guys, that's my top 10 list. As you guys know, if you look at the list, the numbers aren't really that far apart from each other. You know, and it's really from my favorite moments were really from the prime of Running Man episodes when they were like extremely, extremely entertaining. They got really, really creative with it. I mean, you know, I had one episode 130 and 137, 7 episodes apart. You know, 140 and 150, 10 episodes apart. So these episodes were really funny, and the way I feel is that they truly, truly like give you what Running Man's about. So I really hope that you guys give those episodes a shot. Watch it, laugh, because you're gonna laugh and your cheeks are gonna hurt from laughing so much on some of those episodes, and enjoy. That's it for me. Bye-bye. Peace out.